It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Dania Al Khatib. Dr. Dania Al Khatib, a Palestinian clinician who graduated from Al-Quds University in Palestine with a bachelor in dental surgery. After qualifying as a dentist, she obtained her master's degree from parts at the London School of Medicine and Dentistry, Royal London Hospital at Queen Mary University of London, and is currently doing her PhD in oral pathology in Japan. She has worked as a dentist at different private clinics and medical centers and as a lecturer in the Institute of Dentistry at Al-Quds University, and has been both an Arabic teacher at QMUL in London and media spokesperson at Al-Hayat Association for Cancer Control. Today, Dr. Al Khatib will speak about her journey and pursuing higher education abroad. Welcome, Dr. Dania Al Khatib.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your invitation today. I'm very happy for taking part in this beautiful conference. I'm actually particularly pleased for giving this talk in breast cancer conference for the year 2022, which is taking part in one of Palestine's most beautiful and strongest cities, the city of Gaza, which has imprints that resonate across the globe. And that makes me utterly proud. And I'd also like to extend special thanks for Dr.Shaheen for her invitation today. Throughout my presentation, I'll be taking you through my journey in pursuing higher education. So I hope some of you would find that beneficial and some of you would find that influential. So what is my story? First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dania Al Khatib, and I am Palestinian. I was raised in a small city in Palestine called Bethlehem, which is a city known for having the Nativity Church, which is a very important religious, touristic, and historical spot because Jesus Christ was born there. I finished my high school at the Good Shepherd Switch School, where I spent 12 years of education there. I graduated with an average of 98.6% in the scientific stream, and then I've done the Certificate of General Secondary Education examination known as TOJIHI, and I graduated with 97.5% average in those examinations. Throughout my school education, I actually enjoyed studying, but in the same time, I was also focused on creating an extracurricular environment where I can also enjoy my time. And so I've actually joined the musical choir for 5 years where I sang. That was very much enjoyable to me. And I've also taken part in the drama club where I was keen on taking part in the leading role. I've also have special interest in badminton, which I used mainly to play with my mum. After graduating from high school, from the Good Shepherd Switch School, I went on and pursued my education at Al-Quds University in Abu Dis in Palestine, and I majored in dentistry. Throughout my education, I have learned both Turkish and Hebrew, and then I discovered a part of me that is interested in public speaking. So wherever there was a chance for me to be the master of ceremony, I would have definitely pursued that opportunity. And I've also focused while being a dental student on taking part of any extracurricular activities. That's why I've joined the voluntary and training unit, and I was an active member of the Health Forum and the lead of the Environmental Forum. At my graduation party, I was able to hold the valedictorian speech, which I consider the most beautiful 12 minutes of my entire existence at that point. I was so happy. And after that, I have qualified as a dentist. I've done my internship, and I went back to Al-Quds University and worked as a teaching assistant at the oral surgery department, where I taught radiology and radiography. And this image actually shows me and some of my students, which are actually my friends. I've really enjoyed being a teaching assistant, but then after that, I thought it's just not enough. So I wanted to pursue higher education. And I moved to London, and I have studied oral pathology, master degree at QMUL University of London. Pathology is something that I'm very much fascinated by and interested in, because I think it's, I see it as an umbrella that just joins all branches of medicine and dentistry. And it's very important because obviously you learn how to diagnose diseases and you learn the etiology behind every disease, and that has huge impact positively on the prognosis and treatment of your patients. Throughout my master degree, I was also keen and very much interested in joining the student union, and I've done some voluntary work where I helped newcomers and new both international and British students, and supported them throughout their university life. After finishing my master's degree, I stayed a little bit in London, where I worked in various jobs. I've worked at a company, I've worked at a dental clinic, and I've also taught Arabic at QMUL University of London to British students. So that was a very interesting part of my stay in the UK. Finishing my master's, finishing my work there, I moved back to Palestine, and I've worked as a lecturer at Al-Quds University, where I taught third and fourth year dental students of taught oral pathology, oral maxillofacial radiology, and radiography. And I've also been a lecturer at national and international conferences and scientific days. Most of my lectures would be focused on cancer, different types of cancer, oral cancer, and of course, other branches of medicine and dentistry. Actually, one of the most interesting days I remember where we've held a workshop and a lecture where I taught doctors and dentists who work at different directorates of the Ministry of Health in Palestine about how to diagnose and detect oral cancer. That was actually very interesting. You can see it on your lower left hand. Moving on, I've actually, because the theme, speaking of breast cancer, the theme of today's conference is breast cancer. I have interest in raising awareness about breast cancer. So as a media spokesperson of Al-Hayat Association for Cancer Control, I was able to raise awareness and give lectures about breast cancer. I've done that a couple of times, where I've done it in Bethlehem University for students and staff, and I've also done it for students and staff at Batir Honorable School, and this image was in Turkey, where I have spoken about my personal research that involved breast cancer tissues, breast adenocarcinomas. So I think it's very important for all doctors and dentists to be able to raise awareness about different types of cancers and diseases, and just not be limited into one specialty. So academia and giving lectures, public speaking, something that I find fascinating and interests me a lot. But at the same time, I'm also a clinician at the end of the day. So I was also very much interested in scaling up my clinical expertise. And so I've worked at different dental clinics and centers. And in the same time, whenever I had an opportunity to learn a surgical skill regarding head and neck tumor, head and neck disease, where I would be able to learn a certain skill, I would have definitely pursued that opportunity if it took place in a hospital or another center, or even a course such as some head and neck injury courses, surgical skill courses that I've done in the UK as well. Everything now is based on evidence-based medicine, evidence-based dentistry, which is how we're progressing in life. So research is a cornerstone in everyone's life. How about a dentist's life or a doctor's life? It's very, very important, I believe. And so I've developed this interest in research. And I think among the very first people who emphasized the importance of research in my life was Dr. Dania Al Khatib, whom I've done my first research actually with her, and then obviously I've done multiple research, and I was able to present them in different conferences in the UK and in Turkey and Palestine. Actually, recently, like last year, I have graduated from Animal Free Research UK, And recently, 3 months ago, I was able to present my research that I've done when I joined the school, the Animal Free Research UK school, summer school in Birmingham around June, this June. So that was actually an interesting aspect where it was actually my very first experience of learning about artificial intelligence and implying that into head and neck tumors. All of this, I think, somehow prepared me for moving towards my next step. So I've decided to pursue higher education, to work more into research and academia. And I decided of moving to Japan. So first of all, I've applied for a research course, which gave me a flavor of what is the Japanese research interests. Does it get along well with my own personal research interests? What sort of techniques they use? Throughout this period, I was also able to learn about the Japanese culture. I've joined bunka classes or cultural classes. I've also been able to improve my Japanese as a language. And then I thought that there is a good mutual scientific and research goal between us. So I've decided to take the next step, and I've done an entrance exam in word pathology. And currently I'm a PhD student. So I've changed my status from a research student in a research course into a PhD student. And so you see me over here in the sakura, which is the cherry blossom, and here wearing the kimono, which is the traditional Japanese clothes. And this is natto, which is fermented beans. So it's actually, and all of them are new experiences for me. So yeah, personally now I'm a PhD student at Al-Quds University and hospital. While being in Japan or even in the UK, I think it's very important to be connected to my Palestinian roots and show the beauty of the Palestinian culture. That's why I try to show that to Japanese, British, and everywhere I go. You see me over here wearing the Palestinian traditional thobe in a Japanese matsuri or festival. So I'd like to share with you the reasons why I think studying abroad and moving abroad, at least for a period of your life, is important. First of all, I think obviously having better educational opportunities, pursuing higher degrees was very important for me. It goes along well with my future goals, and it widens up the scope of job opportunities, whether you want to go back and work in your home country, or do you want to work in the country where you've studied, or even in elsewhere. So I think it's studying abroad gives you an overview of that very, very, very clearly than if you haven't. And while doing that, you will meet people, you will make friends, and you will build relationships and connections. And that in this process, obviously, you will show your own culture, you will show your own language, you will show them your own religion, you will show them your own ethnicity and everything. In that process, there will be a lot of cultural exchange. And that's actually very much important to learn from. And I think it's very important to accept others, accept the differences, and focus on the similarities. Throughout the process, you will learn new languages, discover more about yourself, what you're capable of, what you're incapable of, and that will help you grow both on personal and professional levels. Some of the challenges that I've personally encountered was feeling alone, obviously spending most of my outings by myself. And I think that could be counterpart by enjoying being alone, and also making a lot of friends. And you will feel burdened by obviously having so much responsibilities, and you have to cook by yourself, rent a house, pay the bills, everything by yourself. So I think by having a to-do list and every day or maybe every few hours, and by arranging your time wisely, you will be able to keep up with your tasks and with the burdens of being overwhelmed with so many tasks. And of course, the financial burden that can be be solved by applying for scholarships, such as through embassies, consulates, and you can also seek help from your own university. And obviously, you need to take into consideration the language of the country you're moving to and whether you need a proficiency test or not. So obviously, there's TPE for Turkish, JLPT for the Japanese language, and many others. And this is actually a very recent challenge that I've faced, which is very recently, a few days ago, where there was a typhoon in the area I live in Japan, and I obviously had to take all precautionary measures by myself, but it was still scary. Finally, I think before moving abroad, you have to study very well the country you're going to, culture-wise, etiquette-wise, social etiquette-wise. Obviously, is the weather suitable for you to live in or not? You need to be very much confident with your own native language, and to a point where you're able to teach it to others. You should be able to learn the country's language that you're moving to and an international common language of the region you're moving to. And life is going to always be stressful, but you have to enjoy every moment of it. Stress will pass away, it will fade away, but the moments will stick forever, and the feelings of those moments will stick forever. So try and enjoy every single moment. Take care of your physical and mental health, and make as much, just burst the bubble, make friendships as much as possible, regardless of how different people look and seem from you. And most importantly, is empower others and help others. While doing that, you're actually helping yourselves. And every time you help others, you help yourself. Every time you stay away from jealousy, from bullying, from putting people down, you're actually rising up higher and higher. And finally, just future is unknown, and that's okay. Just work hard towards your goals. Whether you reach your goals or not, it's okay. You will learn throughout the process, and you will reach a much, much better place, even if it was not the place that you've wanted to reach from your first step. So that was my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it was beneficial, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Have a lovely day.